What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. We have a lot to talk about today. So if you guys were unaware, leaks on the Astra Militarum / Imperial Guard Codex were rampant in the past couple of weeks, and because of that, we found out that there wasn't a notable character listed amongst the stats and the lore, and that was none other than Commissar Yarrick, the hero of Hades' Hive, the guy that went toe-to-toe against the orcs and Gaskell and lived because he was such a fun cat and mouse type game for the orcs that Gaskell let him live, and he is honestly an inspiration for the Guard. Now, rumors were going rampant as to why maybe he wasn't listed in the codex. Was he going to be a part of a later supplement? Was the leak wrong? Was the codex missing some pages? And now we found out that the reason why Yarrick doesn't have rules for 9th edition is that he's dead. He is no longer listed amongst the ranks of the living. He has joined the Emperor in the Army of the Light. But is he actually dead? That is something that so many people were speculating and crafting theories on, because a named character dying is almost unheard of. Yes, it has happened in the past, but in some shape, way, or form, death is never permanent when it comes to 40k. We've seen saints come back from the dead. Karn technically can't die as well, but that's because of some chaos shenanigans, and the saints, obviously, that's with some emperor shenanigans, which could be also chaos shenanigans. So what exactly is going on here with the Commissar? Because lately we have a lot of information and a lot of content about him. He appeared to us in the first and free episode of Hammer and Bolter, which was a subscription-based series on Warhammer Plus, and for something that big to happen, to try to entice people to subscribe and, get into Warhammer Plus, Commissar Yarrick was a pretty big deal. Everybody knew who he was, because he's super old in the lore. Now, the thing about that is that, yes, he's just a human. He's augmented and whatnot, but he's just a human, and there are rejuvenation capsules and technology and medicine that could extend a human's life, but at the end of the day, all humans are destined to die. So any human named character is gonna go, meet the Army of the Light and be one with the Emperor, just like Creed. And we've seen Creed fall and a replacement come up in his daughter, Ursula Creed. So we'll be seeing something like this similar to Yarrick. Maybe somebody else takes up his name, a child, another soldier, who knows? But here we finally have confirmation from Warhammer community itself as to what exactly is going on with Commissar Yarrick. So if you guys want to read the entire article, I will have it linked in the description so you can check it out for yourselves. But let's go ahead and dive in. So basically they start off by saying it's true. The Tower of Heroes has been ringing its bell of lost souls, and this bell rings every time a legendary hero of the Imperium breathes its last mournful peal, reaching and deafening the ears of millions across the throne world. And we were correct in those leaks. Codex Astra Militarum has no longer a Yarrick stat line for 9th edition. And then they show us a pretty awesome, eulogy kind of for Yarrick. We see his skeletal face with his notable cap and bale eye. We don't see his power claw here, but we do have a skeletal hand, and this looks pretty cool. Very grimdark. I like the aesthetic. I like everything about this, but why aren't they showing us more? Was his death so grisly that this is all they could gather? What happened to him that they were able to recover his body? but like not his arm. Who did he fight against? Like, what killed him? Because that's a huge factor. Like, is there gonna be a campaign? Is there gonna be some storyline that retells the final moments of this awesome commissar's life? Because Yarrick did have a feud with Gaskell, so was Gaskell the one to do the final blow? But there's also a lot of speculation as to Angron and the World Eaters fighting against the Cadians, and Yarrick might have been one of the people that fell against none other than the demon Primarch Angron. So a lot to kind of think about. But continuing on with the article here, they say that perhaps this ancient warrior fell to mankind's oldest enemy, the passage of time. Because he was known as Old Man Yarrick pretty early on in his life. Not just that, but he did fight in a bunch of wars. Like, this guy is grizzled, he has seen a lot, he's been through a lot, but what exactly was keeping him alive for this long? Because when we see him in the animation for Hammer and Bolter, he looks like an old grizzled man. Like, he's tired, he wants to rest, but the Imperium is a war-hungry machine that is just churning and will never stop. And unfortunately, you're just a cog in that machine that eventually will get replaced, because that's what time does to you, wear and tear. Now, the thing about heroes in 40k, especially named characters, is that they generally don't just die quietly. There's some type of epic conclusion to it, and that begs the question, who, if anyone, could have killed him? Perhaps his nemesis Gaskell Thraka may have a shiny new body, but he'd surely be reluctant to put an end to his favorite pastime, fighting against Yarrick. For all we know, it might be the Orcs' collective belief in Yarrick's invincibility that kept this old commissar trucking. So this is pretty funny, because for two things. So we all know that Orcs' probability is controlled by their warp shenanigans. Obviously, if they believe purple is sneaky, they're going to be sneaky if they don purple. Red makes things go faster. I think yellow makes a bigger boom. The thing about belief and thought like that, I thought that only applied to orky things. It didn't work outside of that. So their beliefs in keeping Yarrick invincible, I don't think that is correct in that sense. Because a lot of people have asked us the question on our Greater Walls, well, if the Orcs believe that the Emperor will come back, will he actually come back? Probably not. But anyway, that's just pretty interesting that they included that in the article. Let's continue on. With the opening of the Great Rift, the Blood Crusade has smashed into Armageddon. Perhaps Yarrick returned to his old stomping ground and died at the hand of Angron. For there is a certain skull with a bionic eye strung around the Red Angel's neck. He only keeps his most memorable foes' bounties away from the Skull Throne, and Sebastian Yarrick would definitely qualify. Falling in battle against a demon Primarch would be a worthy death, but surely we should have heard about such an epic showdown, for Yarrick is not one to go down quietly. And the last reason is, could it be that maybe he isn't really dead at all? The Imperium has had a proud history of factual creativity, and after the supposed but not actual death of Marneus Calgar on Vigilus boosted morale, it's entirely possible that they're doing it again. Another heroic martyrdom to put the fire of vengeance into the hearts of mankind. If only a powerful organization with flexible morals could arrange such a thing. Or perhaps the galaxy's most enthusiastic history buff has given Yarrick a new purpose, as a museum exhibit, for he'd be the perfect capstone to any display of the classic Steel Legion models after all. So, pretty funny here. We've seen time and time again that the lore of Warhammer 40k is very finicky. Almost nothing is 100% concrete in terms of factual because it is in the eyes of the Imperium. The Imperium tends to mislabel and get things wrong all the time, and they pass it off as fact. One huge example of this is the Tau Empire. We see the Tau have a lot of vehicles, a lot of weapons, a lot of their I guess, society and themes is based on, for some reason, aquatic animals. We have the devilfish, the manta, and stuff like that named for their vehicles, but it's like, why are they named after Terran aquatic animals? They don't live on Terra. They probably have never even seen a freaking manta ray. But that is how the Imperium labels and denotes things. So the Tau have a completely different word for what a devilfish is. That's just the way we see it because it's through the eyes of the Imperium. So if the Imperium wants us to believe that Commissar Yarrick is dead, be it for morale or some other reason, that is what we're going to be led to believe, and that is what will make it into the Codex. Because essentially, GW is making it seem that we're seeing things through the eyes of the Imperium. And the Imperium is not a place where truth is prevalent. As we can see with the Emperor, he wasn't being truthful when it came to chaos. He wasn't being truthful with the webway and his projects and stuff like that. And that's why Secrets basically tore asunder the Imperium, which led to the Horus Heresy and is now in the state that it currently is. So, what exactly is going on with Commissar Yarrick? Will we ever know? I mean, it's probably in the Codex. GW is just being sneaky and kind of beating around the bush so that more people can spread theories and create videos and just create a whole bunch of ruckus around Commissar Yarrick so that if you want the true answer, you have to pick up the Codex. Because, putting it simply out there, GW wants you to buy the Codex, whether it's to play guard or to get an answer to this question. So, we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want more lore on Commissar Yarrick, we've got 40 facts on it. Dude's had a pretty epic life, I'll tell you that much. If you guys want to see the animation for Hammer and Vulture, check out Old Bale Eye. It does a pretty good job in showing what a badass this guy is. And of course, if you guys want to, stay subscribed because we will be posting 40K videos each and every day. We'll get your questions asked in our For the Greater Walls. We've got shorts, just a slew of 40 facts videos in the archives that you guys can check out. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think this character is actually dead? Will he come back in some shape, way, or form, maybe as a saint? Or is Yarrick dead, and who killed him? Again, guys, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and as always, it's been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.